Hello again.
Hello again. Are you thinking about traveling to Lisbon? If so, we put together a top 10 list. It's actually not 10 literal things, it's kind of 10 categories, so buckle up. This one's going to be chock full of stuff, so grab your cup of tea or coffee and we'll get started.
Okay, and please remember, we appreciate it if you subscribe. If you have comments, please comment below and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. This is where we start. Come on in. So here we go.
Number 10.
Number 10 is, sorry, I had to look at my notes, is what to wear. So the one very important thing that we want you to keep in mind is your shoes. You're going to be walking a lot, but not only that. The sidewalks here are beautiful. They're mosaics, literally mosaics. So you cannot wear high heels. Well, you can, but consider what kind. And also when those mosaic stones get wet, they get very slippery. So
it's a little fun doing the dance.
Right. So we want to make sure that you're not only comfortable, but you're also safe. So consider the shoes that you bring and make sure that they have traction and a lower heel. You can still look good in a lower heel. When traveling in shoulder season, we recommend layering. Number 9.
Money. So Portugal uses the euro. ATMs are plentiful and you can use your debit and credit cards most places, but at like the smaller shops and the smaller restaurants, it's always better to just use cash. So in addition to that, wanted to tell you for the ATMs, we prefer multi-banco. Their fees are a little bit better for us, so look for those, they're everywhere. The other thing you might want to consider is just letting your bank know that you're traveling internationally and tell them where you're going so that you don't get into any trouble with all of a sudden your card not working because they're sending out some sort of a fraud alert. So notify your bank in advance. And then for the past 4 years or so that I've been living internationally, I have a Charles Schwab bank account, which has 0 ATM fees worldwide, which really works out to your benefit in the long run. So if you're open to trying a new bank, I'd say go for it. Charles Schwab has been so easy to work with, so I recommend them. So moving on, number 8, Vicky.
Number 8 is medical care. And as you know, if you've been watching our videos, I had an incident where I ended up in the emergency room, and I am here to tell you that I was very pleased and with the medical care that I received. It was at the hospital Infant Santo, and it went very, very well for me. I have insurance though, so I went online to check out whether or not there were similar experiences from others who did not. There was on the Yelp site, there was a recommendation from a woman who had traveled here from Palo Alto, and she said that she needed to have labs done and before she could travel home the next day, and her doctor had sent a text of what she needed to have done, and she walked into Infant Santo, and they took excellent care of her and sent her the results by text. We also have 2 other friends who were visiting here as well. They had problems individually and went to a pharmacist with their symptoms, and the pharmacist said that they needed to go to a clinic and recommended one not too far from where they were staying. They went to that clinic. So if you are traveling here and you run into a problem, you might want to talk to your hotel manager or front desk, or if you're going through an Airbnb, maybe you can call your host or hostess and ask them for their advice of where to go. Or also, we have good experience with the pharmacist here. They're very, very knowledgeable and very friendly, so they may be able to help you too. It's important to get travel insurance before you leave the country. It covers so many things, including if you can't make your flight for whatever reason, but also if you have some major problems medically on your trip, they will med-vacing you home if you need to. So we recommend that. Okay, on to the next, Carmen.
Okay, communicating. This is number 7. So Portuguese are very helpful, friendly, and you'll say, do you speak any English? And they'll say, oh, I speak a little. And then they'll go on to impress you with their command of the English language. Another thing to keep in mind is typically they do the double cheek kiss, you know, the thing. So be prepared for that. You don't want any collisions midway. Just expect the double cheek kiss. But as far as the language goes, it's always, you just feel better when you can say some of the basic greetings, the good mornings, the thank you, the please. So we have recently found an online European Portuguese, let's see, she calls it Essential European Portuguese course. We'll put the link down below, but she has such a nice way of explaining how to pronounce it, because Portuguese is it's just a different part of your mouth, and training to hear the right sounds and to make those noises is a challenge, but she's really great. So,
and the course is pretty short as well, right?
And it's not very expensive. So we'll provide that link to you as well. You'll just feel so empowered when you come here and you're able to say a few words well, and maybe even sentences, I don't know. But try to communicate in Portuguese. Okay, moving on. Number 6, Vicky.
Number 6 is accommodations. So I'd always had a personal rule in my decades of travel that I don't stay any place less than 3 nights. And the reason is, I mean, if you come to Europe and you've never been here before, you want to see everything, but there's a price to pay if you stay less than 3 nights. Think about unpacking and packing over and over and over again. And not only that, if you only, like 3 nights gets you one really good full day of touristing and seeing the town and the village and interacting with the people. So, and you want to savor your experience here. So that is my recommendation. Also, the other thing to keep in mind that I learned the hard way is that the floors are numbered differently here. Ground floor is 0. So the first floor is 1. I learned this the hard way in Belgium one year. I got this really lovely room on the 4th floor, and the spiral staircase took me up to what I call the 5th floor with my big old duffel bag. It was something that I'll never forget. So that's important. The other thing is that we have lately been traveling a lot using Airbnb. And of course, that's the latest thing lately. We've had some really, really great experiences, but we've also had some not so good experiences.
You awkward situation.
Don't mention the shower situation.
Oh,
there's a long story to that. But anyway, what we found is that when we haven't really looked at the reviews carefully and what was written on the reviews, when we hadn't really taken in good consideration the reviews, we maybe didn't have the greatest experience. So Airbnb is great. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you do the reviews. All right, next, Carmen. Next up is...
Ooh, getting around. Who hasn't asked, should I rent a car? Well, we're here to say and recommend that if you are just staying in the Lisbon area, forget the car, because you're going to have to find parking, and navigating the streets could be a challenge. There's traffic to consider, and when you have so many great public transportation options.
So much, right? So much.
The train, the metro, the buses.
I live here, I don't own a car.
Yeah, me neither.
She doesn't either, yeah.
It's fine. My dad has a car now, though, so, you know,
like
a little spoiled.
Here, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so no need to rent a car. So we have Viva. Can you read that? Viva. This is the bus card you'll get. This is more the temporary one. As residents,
bus train card.
We now have permanent cards, but this is the one that you would get. We'll provide a link to this so you can go on their website to see if maybe they're having any special deals for, you know, a week or longer sort of things, or 10 passes, you get one free, something like that. So we'll provide that. The other thing is, in addition to public transportation, we also have Uber. We have Kapten, we have Bolt, which we've been using a lot lately. So there's plenty of ways to get around, and it's not that expensive. Okay, I think that's all I have for that one. Number 4.
Number 4 is adjusting to jet lag. There are so many philosophies on this, and there's also some natural medications that you can take. I've not really had good success with the natural medications, but what I found to be successful is to just power through the time change element. So say you're flying from the United States and you fly into Paris and it is 8 in the morning and it's like midnight back home or so, and you just want to go to bed, but that's just going to continue your jet lag. So power through the first day, get as much sunshine as you can. That helps change adapt your circadian rhythm. Also drink a lot of water. Maybe have a little bit of coffee, but of course not too late before you're going to go to bed, the regular time of the area that you're staying in. So that's my recommendations for jet lag. All right, number 3, Carmen.
Okay, we're gonna provide a recommendation of apps to have on your phone. Things like maps. So on Google Maps, there's a way that you can work offline. I don't have as much experience with that one as I do with maps.me. It's something that we used in Ecuador pretty much exclusively. I've been using it here on our scouting trip. We didn't have data here, so we used that to navigate everywhere. It was just fine. So maps.me is great.
And it's nice because you can pin where you want to go. In fact, you can research beforehand, which is what I did for when we went on our scouting trip here, is I pinned the locations of the tourist marks that we all wanted to go. So that when we arrived here on maps.me, there it was already.
And it navigates you there. It's perfect.
It is.
Okay, there was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, other apps. Besides maps, also the CP, which is the Portuguese train system. So that'll give you perfect times. Moovit is another app that helps you when you need to use various sources of transportation. So it'll tell you, we'll take the bus here to there, then walk this distance to take the train. And then, or it gives you Uber options. So those two are good. And then of course, Uber, Kapten, Bolt. We also have Uber Eats service here. We have Glovo, which will be kind of convenient if you show up at an hour where things aren't open. They'll deliver it to your door. I mean, it's just convenient. And then for eating things for dinner reservations, you can do TheFork. And then there's one called MyGon that I haven't used yet, but I'm gonna try. So we'll provide you the link to those apps that you'll be happy to have ready. And now, number 2.
Okay, number 2 is dining. All right, you're gonna come to Portugal to eat because the food is so good here. It is. But the time frame that people eat in Europe in general is different than the way we eat in America. So first of all, they generally eat lunch from 1 to 3. Keep that in mind even when you're shopping, because some of the stores will close down at 1 to 3 because they're getting lunch. Dinner, this has been hard to get used to, and I still am having a hard time. They start eating at 7:30. So many restaurants are not even open until 7:30, and they're open until 11. So keep that in mind. The other thing, I remember when I first traveled to Europe, I really wanted like bacon and eggs and ketchup and like an English muffin. That's very hard to find here. The typical breakfast is just a croissant or a pastel de nata and a really great cup of coffee or a cappuccino. If you like that, you're going to be totally happy. But if you really, really want to have an American type meal breakfast, then you're going to be wanting to look for a British breakfast. And so look for a sign or Google it, and then you'll be able to find a hearty breakfast if you do that. But that's what to expect. Okay, drum roll. Carmen, the number 1 tip that we are going to offer today.
The tip is about tipping. And that was the whole premise for the start of this video, because you end up somewhere and you go, oh no, what should I do for a tip? I'm getting a massage. What's the custom? Because none of us want to be rude, and we don't want to alter the dynamic of the place we're going and over tip.
Right.
So I went online and found different recommendations for what tipping practice is. But then something we have is a local circle of friends who are Portuguese.
Yes.
So I decided to check with them on what they do. So our good friend Jonathan said, for restaurants, he says, let me just keep it real simple for you. They are not dependent on tips here. So this really is a token of appreciation, which is very different than what we're used to in the States, where tipping is part of their financial
Right.
life.
Living,
Yeah.
right.
So he said, if you're at a restaurant and you're sitting down, he'll tip anywhere from 50 cents, rarely, but typically like 1 to 2 euros, just a flat 1 to 2. He says, but if I'm really happy with the service or the server and it was just super pleasant, he'll tip €5. And I said, what about really expensive restaurants? Do you need to scale that up? He says, nope, doesn't matter. Those are the rates. So just have in mind like €1 as an average, and for really great service, 5. So
And if you're not being served, like if you're having a croissant and a cappuccino, I mean, you can just leave extra change.
yeah,
They're not expecting a tip.
yeah,
Right?
right.
So that's it.
Yeah, hopefully these tips will be helpful to you as you make your travel plans.
Right. And we hope this makes your travel a lot more fun and enjoyable. And please comment below if you would like to, give us a comment. We love to hear from you.
Or thumbs up, subscribe,
Thumbs
anything.
up, subscribe,
Talk
all
to
of
us.
that. Yes, we love to hear from you. And so who knows what we'll be doing, what we'll be shooting next, but we will look forward to our next visit with you. Ciao for now.